Right then, we are back for another episode, and today we are going to be looking at the power of love. I'm going to keep this super short today because I feel like a complete sack of shit, and I look like a sack of shit as well. Oh, not good. Anyway, as I said last week, there's always an opportunity within every problem, and this is no different because what I wanted to do today was lay on the sofa and eat pizza. But I recognised that doing that wouldn't necessarily be beneficial to me, so I've instead taken this opportunity to test the strength and effectiveness of my morning routine. So I've done all of the things that I would normally do, obviously a little bit slower and with less vigour, but I know that in doing that, I've provided myself with the self-care that I need rather than giving up and using it as an excuse to be a slob. Because we all need rest, but when you're mixing that up with self-destructive behaviours and using it as an excuse, it does more harm than good. Precision Nutrition have a really great infographic about life existing on different levels, and you can go up or down depending on where you're at in your life. So 10 being right at the top, so you're on top of the world, you're really thriving, and 1 being down at the bottom, so you're feeling like shit. The reality of it is you never stop. You just turn it up or down a notch depending on how you feel, because it's reflective of life, because life doesn't stop. It doesn't turn off, and if it does, it means you've run out of life, which means you're dead. So life goes on, and so do you, just at a level that works in those circumstances. So anyway, I've gone off on a tangent, but there's also a lesson there. Anyway, today it is all about the power of love. I wrote a post about this yesterday, so if you haven't seen it, go over to my page and give that a read. But for most people, we're operating from a place of fear. So we spend our lives doing things because we are fearful, because we are plagued by doubt or worry. We're acting out fear. And the problem with that is it's not enjoyable, it's not fun. If you're always scared and you're always anxious and you're always worried, everything feels like a struggle. And you're always fighting and suffering. And life isn't about suffering, despite what the hustle generation may tell you. Life is about living and enjoying. And inevitably there will be pain, because it's part of the human experience. It's part of the spectrum of emotions that we feel. And it's not always easy, it's not always nice, but self-imposed suffering is ridiculous, particularly when you can avoid it. Going after a goal because you're afraid of something is very powerful, but it's also very destructive. We think it's the best way, and psychologists have long said that fear is a powerful motivator. There's even an old Friends episode where Rachel wants to quit her job at the coffee shop, and they discuss having something called the fear, and that is what she would need to be able to leave that job and to then push on and achieve something else. So it's something that has always been pushed as a means of motivation. And I used to think that it was the best way as well. I used to see a lot with weight loss clients. You know, they're scared to be ridiculed by people. They're scared to be judged. They're worried about getting diseases related to their health. They're worried about all kinds of things. But here's the thing, if those are the driving forces, okay, great, they may get you started, but they're all about avoidance. They're about what you don't want. If we instead thought about what we do want, and we operated from a place of love, and we ran towards what we want, things would be a little bit different. Life would be easier, because love is more powerful than fear. If you think about it, fear, it chokes you, it creates stress, it physically stresses your body out. Whereas love is the complete opposite. It relaxes your body. It's 2 completely different chemical reactions in your body. Which one would you rather feel? Would you rather feel that level of love, or would you rather feel fear? Being stressed and anxious, or feeling light and happy and relaxed? It's much easier to do things out of fear, out of love, than out of fear. People can do really amazing things out of love. You hear stories of women that have lifted cars off of their children when they've been hit by a car, because they're operating from love. There's all kinds of crazy things that people do from a place of love. because fear is temporary. It only lasts so long. Most of the time when we fear something, it's not the stimulus itself, it's the fear of the unknown. And once something becomes known, we are no longer fearful. So fear is temporary, whereas love lasts. So the secret is to love what it is you're working on or what you're working towards, to find the love behind it and run with it. If you forget the fear, you're going to be better off, because fear is only going to hurt you long term. So as a call to action today, what I want you to do is do a fear versus love comparison. So you're going to write down your main goal or whatever it is you're working towards at the moment, and then write it in the middle of your paper. On one side, write down all of the fear-driven reasons why you're working towards that, and then on the other side, write the opposite down. So what actions are coming out of fear and what actions could be replaced with more loving actions. So let's say I want to lose weight because I don't want to be ill. The opposite to that would be I want to lose weight because I want to feel healthy. So rather than looking at the lack, we're looking at the gain and the loving actions. I know it sounds really fucking hippie, but trust me on this, living from love is much more enjoyable and productive than living in fear. Now, before I jump off, I wanted to tell you about a 5-day challenge that I've got coming up in January. It's called the Fatal 4, and I'm going to be covering fear, self-esteem, confidence, and stress. So the 4 key things that keep people stuck. I'll take you through the what's and whys of those. I'll give you some coaching around different activities to help you deal with those issues so that you can break away from them and start 2020 on the right foot. And to get on board, you need to be in the Limitless group. I'm going to post a link up. I think there's already one in the description, but I'll put one in the comments anyway. Send me a request to join us, and then I will approve it, and then you'll be in for the challenge. And you'll also get access to an energy challenge that is in there in the units, plus some journaling activities and some other training videos. It's well worth getting in there, and I would very much like to have you in there with us. So if you jump on that now, other than that, do your call to action, and then I will be back next week with another episode.